Yes.
Yes.
So myself, Amulya, I'm having like around 10 years of experience in performance testing. So I will be guiding you in end-to-end activities of performance testing things throughout your sessions. Okay. So I hope we are good to start. Okay. Let me know if you guys are facing any issues. So you can use the chat and make use of that. Cool. Okay. So here mainly today we are gonna to cover the below things which comes under agenda. So here in today's session we are going to discuss like exactly what is performance testing and what are all the things we will be doing in performance testing and what is performance testing life cycle. And when we talk about the performance testing here in these sessions we are mainly focusing on tool called LoadRunner. Okay, so what is the exact architecture and what are all the components we have in LoadRunner? And by using which component, like exactly it relates to what, and what are all the activities we will be planning with those components, and followed by the course content. So I'm going to explain you like what are all the contents we will be covering in our upcoming sessions and ended with question and answers. Okay, so first let's speak about software testing. Okay, so here we have testings called functional and performance. So many of the people like used to think like functional and performance testing are like almost same. And what are all the activities we will be doing here in functional that will be same in performance as well. But that's not the reality. Okay, when you talk about the functionality, suppose let's take this page itself. So if you are clicking on file, if the file option is working or not, if you are clicking on home, is that functionality is working or not. In the same way, if you are like closing by using the cross button or close button, is that properly working or not. Okay, mainly the functionality testing is to check whether the application functionality is good or not. So whatever the function you are using, is that working properly or not. They will be writing some sort of test cases and doing their activities accordingly. Okay, but when we talk about the performance, so in functional, suppose if they want to check a Gmail functionality, so suppose let's take login. Okay, so mostly what will be the things? So they need to provide the username and password. If they want to check the functionality testing of Gmail application, so they will be coming up with multiple test cases. Test cases are nothing but what are all the steps we are including in that particular scenario, those comes under test cases. Okay, but in functionality testing they will be including positive test cases and also negative test cases. Positive means if you are giving proper username and correct password, then it is going to log you in to the application. Okay, but whenever you are going with negative credentials, you are saying like abc@gmail.com and 123 is your password. But whenever you are typing 1234 instead of 123, definitely it is going to throw you error saying like your credentials is going to be mismatched and it is not allowing to the application. Okay, so functionality testing is going to include both the positive cases and also the negative cases. But when you talk about the performance, we are simply going with what are all the positive cases that we are having in the particular application. Okay, if
Are
someone
are you
from
are you are you sharing any screen?
yes,
But we are not able to see your screen.
oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for
Yes.
reminding. So sorry for that, guys. Yeah, is my screen up now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just started here. One second. So, and this is performance testing load runner, and this is our agenda. Okay. So today we will be covering performance testing and its life cycle, architecture, and the Q&A, and followed by course content. Okay, this is functional, and this is the difference between performance and functional. But when we talk about, yeah, thanks for that. But when we talk about the performance testing, here mainly we are focusing on the non-functional aspects. Okay, exactly how our application performance is going to be, how scalable. Okay, when you talk about the performance metrics, there will be n number of metrics. Exactly how much time it is taking in order to load the home page, how much time it is exactly taking in order to show the page related to draw. I mean, when you talk about this application. Okay, so mainly it focus on the response time, and we have n number of metrics called throughput and also hits per second and the time delay, which is latency and error rate. We will be discussing all these factors when we talk about performance. Okay, and now, so whenever you are dealing with any subject, forget about the performance testing. No matter what, on which subject you are dealing, so you need to question yourself with these four questions. Exactly what is it, and why we need it, and exactly when we are going to start that, and when we should end that, and then how we are going to achieve that. Okay, so when someone asks you like what is performance testing, you can say like testing the application behavior when you are hitting with peak load. Suppose let's take IRCTC application. Okay, so if we want to do performance testing for that IRCTC application, so exactly how the server is behaving when about like 1 lakh users are using the application. What is the exact performance of the servers? Okay, when you are hitting with the peak load, there we are going to check the application server behavior. We are going to see the server behaviors and also the entire application behavior. Is that responding properly, or somehow it is going to like a freeze? Is it is showing some handshake issues in the mid of usage? Okay, whenever you are using something called Amazon Big Billion Sale, how the application is responding. Suppose in this in the Big Billion Sales, they are going to give you like around few sales in the mid, like that sale will be live only for half an hour, and few sales will be live for like around 1 hour. In that 1 hour of duration, how many users are logged into the application, how many are doing the transactions, how many like doing this and that actions. So during that particular peak hour and peak period, how exactly so called Amazon application is responding. Is that properly, like whenever you are searching for this something in Amazon, in that Big Billion Sale, is that going to provide you the proper search category as per the category? Or whenever you are doing the payment, if you have only like 10 minutes of demo session, guys able to hear me?
Yes, yes, go ahead,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Yes. Hello. 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 Your voice is not audible.
Yes, Amul voice is not audible.
Guys, are your voice is audible?
No. Hello.
Yeah, madam was not there, right?
Yes, she's not.
I think maybe, yeah. Let's see.
I think maybe she may be facing the
Maybe she will
network issue.
connect it here.
Ah,
Hello? Guys, able
Yeah,
to hear
yeah.
me?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, something happened in mid and it got disconnected. Sorry for
No
that.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah. My bandwidth and reach and everything is fine. I don't know why it is showing like that. Yeah. Please let me know when like you are seeing any breakages in the mid. Okay.
No worries.
But now it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly we need to check like if you're working with any, I mean if you're dealing with Amazon, so like before like they are gonna to release some sort of any big billion sales, before moving to production, they will be checking all these things. Hello. I'm getting some echo.
No worries. Go ahead.
This okay, fine. So that is performance testing. Exactly the next question. I mean, why we need performance testing? And someone will you like ask us like without performance testing, can't we go ahead? Okay, so we have many applications. We will be going without performance testing. Then why only we need performance testing? This and that. Okay, so the main motto of using the performance testing is to see defect free in production. Okay, to see defect free in production. Suppose let's take Amazon application again. They already planned big billion sale and due to some I mean time short period and all this stuff and any budget issues or might be n number of backend issues, what they thought. So we are doing the performance testing for each and every sale. So we'll just go simply and go into the production. This is how they thought and they released the big billion sale. Then like whenever there is around 1 hour of sale or 2 hour of sale on the particular product or any new upcoming mobiles or something like that, whenever you are I mean they're released in such way, definitely like suppose if the server is unable to capable of handling those many users during that particular period, then definitely your payments are not going to work for sure. Not only related to the payment category, like whenever sometimes like if you're adding something to the cart also, it's not gonna to work. Those are all nothing but defects. Okay, if the defect is minor, then it's totally fine. But if that is gonna to impact in a major thing, okay, suppose like around more than few hundreds of people are placing the order, even though after debiting the amount from their bank IDs, it is not showing as payment successful, which is going to be a major defect in the production, which is not at all going to be entertained. Okay, so in order to get rid of those n number of multiple defects in the production, that needs to be tested. And also like suppose let's take SBI. If you're trying to log in with one of the username and one of the password, okay, but whenever you are provided username and then password and whenever you click login, then exactly what it's gonna to do, like if there is some issues in the backend, then it will like loading will go on for like few minutes, and that is not gonna to be work for you even after few minutes, which is nothing but defect. Okay, so in order to get I mean if you are seeing those many minutes is nothing but response time, if your response time is like taking those many high seconds, then definitely most of the users will lose their interest in using so-called SBI application. So here it will be impacting n number of performance metrics. Okay, but mainly we will be focusing like on response times and 99 percentile and hit per second throughput and all the steps going forward. Okay, so we can simply say to see defect free in production, we should need performance testing. for each and every application which is going into production. Okay, we know what is performance and we know why we need it, and now exactly when we need to start our perf test activities. Okay, so earlier we used to follow waterfall model. It means whenever you gather all the requirements, then only we will be going ahead with testing. So whenever you are gathering all the requirements, then there will be a time gap, so which will be wasted from performance testing efforts. And like whenever they are changing any requirement in the mid of our performance test activities, then again it will be a break for the entire team. Okay, now we moved into cloud and we're also running with agile methodology, where we can able to do requirements, development, and also testing in a parallel line. Okay, suppose let's take again IRCTC application. If they already have the requirements and if the so-called developers started the functionality development for the IRCTC application, so once he is done with only single category, then we can start up of testing activities for this category. Suppose let's take, if you click on IRCTC application. Okay, if the developer already developed the view, whatever you are seeing for the book ticket, if he already did the complete development of this, then we can start the perf test activities for this stage alone. If he is yet to start all the remaining categories in the upcoming sessions, then he can able to do that. Meanwhile, we can also start our work for the book ticket and also for the login, for register, and all this stuff what are all already developed by the developer. So there is no need to wait till the completion of entire page development. When we talk about performance testing, whenever the developer completed login functionality, then we can able to start login functionality performance testing. Whenever he so-called developer developed register functionality, then performance tester is gonna to work with register functionality. So there is no need to wait till the completion of entire setup for the application. Okay, so we can say like in parallel with dev. Okay, and we can say like in parallel with dev. But if he is in the mid of registration functionality, okay, when I say in parallel means when he is completely done with particular functionality, then only we can do. If he is in the mid of login functionality development, we can't do. Okay, in parallel means while doing the development phase, it means while he developed like login, register, and book, and he is about to start his next activities, meanwhile we can do the stuff what are all completed. Okay, so for a better note, we can say like when development for particular functionality completes. Okay, and also here comes the main thing. So whenever so-called developer says, hi Amulya, we are done with the login functionality and we are done with registration and we are good to go with performance testing activities. Okay, then simply I can't go and do the login script and also registration script. So before going ahead with perf test activities, okay, so it should be application should be done with manual phase. It means, suppose, let's take Sai Kumar. Sai Kumar is developer and Sunil is from manual team. Suppose if so-called Sai Kumar completely developed login and also register and also ticket booking phases. Then what is the immediate step? So Sunil from the functional team need to check whether login functionality is working or not. So if he is trying to click on so-called, like if he is providing the username, okay, so let's take Amulya at gmail.com. Okay, and I am going to password 1234. If I am giving so-called username and so-called password, and also I'll try to go with captcha. AEY HMD UMD. Okay, if I am going with these credentials, if I am clicking on sign in, if that is working or not, if it is showing any invalid user even after providing the proper credentials. Okay, if you are trying to provide proper username and proper password and you are also giving a proper token for a validation and you are clicking on signing, even though after all the positive attempts that you are making in your so-called IRCTC application, if that is not allowing you to log in, means there is a functionality issue. Okay, so Sunil from the functional team needs to take care. Then only Hariharan from the performance team is gonna to handle the next steps. Okay, so if Sai Kumar is complete, I mean, if he is doing his activity called development, then we can't simply go on to the perf test activities. So there will be two things what we need to take care before going ahead with performance testing. One is development phase should be complete, and also application should be done with manual phase. Manual phase means they will be like doing all the functionality checks. If we are going with proper credentials, if it is working or not. So all these things will be checked from the manual phase. And application should be stable. Okay, this is the most important thing when we talk about when we need performance testing. Okay, now Sai Kumar did development and Sunil Kumar did, what is that, functionality phase, and Hariharan started his performance test activities. But whenever he is trying to use this, like here he observed some sort of stability issues. It means whenever he is trying to click a login, he is seeing sort of register page. And whenever he clicks on login, he can able to enter only username but not password. Sometimes it is working fine and sometimes it's not. There is some sort of inconsistency in the application behavior. If there is some such inconsistency behavior, then we can simply say like the application is not stable and we can't go forward for the perf test activities. Okay, so these three should be taken care when we talk about exactly when we should perform perf test activities. It should be done with manual phase and it should done with development phase, and also the application should be stable. Okay, okay, here we know, let me write it here, what is performance testing: the application behavior when we are hitting with peak load. Let me write it here. Oh, what was it? Okay, testing the application behavior when we are hitting with peak load. And why exactly we need it? We can simply say like to see defect free in production. And when we should do that? Application should be stable and also that should be properly developed, and also it should be checked with all the manual phase areas. And now here comes achieving. Okay, we know how to do it. We know when to do it, we know why exactly we need it, and we know what is performance testing as well. Now, how we are going to achieve it? There are n number of ways to achieve it in the form of tools. Okay, suppose let's take we are going to do the performance testing without any tool. Okay, so here we have like around 17 people in the session. We have someone QK273, Adarsh, Somparai, and also Venkatesh, Hariharan. We have all around like 17 people in the session. If I want to check the exactly response time of login functionality in IRCTC application without any tool by using some sort of manual. Okay, so what I need to arrange if I want to do the performance for this, I need to arrange one laptop to each and every candidate, or at least one mobile to each and every candidate, which is nothing but resource. Okay, hardware. Okay, and then what I need to provide? I need to provide sort of user credentials. I'm going to give you like for Vaibhav, test01 is the username and 1234 is his password. And for Tirupati, test02, and for Umesh, test03, test05, and followed by test17, as we are like around 17 people in the session. Okay, so all your passwords is 1234. Now, if I want to do or if I want to check the response time without any tool means, I'll simply ask you to provide your test IDs. I'll simply count like 1, 2, 3. Then what you'll be doing? You'll be writing like test01 at gmail.com, test02 at gmail, test03 at gmail. In the same way, test17 at gmail. Okay, then I'll take like 2 more seconds for waiting period in order to complete all the others tasks. And then I'll ask you people to go with provide your password. You all provided 1234 as your password. And now I'll say like, guys, I'll count 1, 2, 3. And when I say start, you need to click on your login button. Okay, so here what you did, you just provided test01 at gmail.com. Okay, and password is 1234. And I am going to count like 1, 2, 3, start. If I like whenever I am done with like pronouncing start, you all clicked on sign in button. If these user, whatever the credentials I am providing, that will be of proper only. So forgot about error and all these things. Okay. So whenever you click on sign in, so in backend, this IRCTC server is gonna to take all the 17 entries from our site. All 17 entries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and follow till 70. Okay, but do you guys think like whatever we are doing is that going to be like giving the proper result? If you want to check for the login functionality response time, and when I ask you to click on sign in button after saying 1, 2, 3, start. Okay, so Vaibhav may click 1 second before and Tirupati may click exact when I said start. Umesh may did it fraction of seconds earlier and Yogi may did that like fraction of seconds after. There might be n number of issues. Okay, and at last, whatever the value, whatever the response time, we are going to capture from the server for all these 17 hits that made on IRCTC server is not a proper result because of human errors. Even if you want to check the functionality for 5 users, don't think like we can simply click on this and that button in a concurrency way. That can't be happen. Okay, so in order to get rid of all these things, here we have tools. Okay, here when you talk about tools, here we have LoadRunner, which is the best and efficient tool from Aegis, and Jmeter, and K6, Gatling, Oats, and etc. Okay, so if you want to capture these response times, you can make use of LoadRunner. And in the same way, you can make use of Jmeter, K6, Gatling, Oats, and Neoload, or whatever it might be. That is completely subjected to your project requirement. Okay, but mostly like as this is from the Aegis, okay, so whenever like, see, this is completely purely licensed one. So it is going to be applicable till 50 users on trial version. If you want to learn this thing, then you can simply download that and you can able to run this till 50 users. If you want to go beyond 50 users, then definitely you should purchase license. Okay, but whenever there is no such sort of any budget for your project, then you can go for open source. Then you can simply ask, if there is something called open source, then what's the use of licensed version? Okay, if you are using the licensed version, then definitely there will be a change in the reports. It means whatever the response times you are getting from the LoadRunner, that is more accurate than the open source tools. And also, as this is coming from the Aegis, most of the people will be using this even in current projects. And also, this is going to live for more and more years and ages as well. Okay, suppose if you want to start something, start any new company, then what is your very first step when you talk about performance testing? Then definitely, if you want to grow into any particular area, then your main and choosy option is you'll be go for the licensed version. And at the same time, you will be checking the comparisons of all the existing tools, and you'll go for what is giving the efficient results, and also like the proper customer services as well. If you're seeing some issues, even if after you purchased something in either adding that and this in your LoadRunner, then definitely as that is licensed version, you can able to contact the LoadRunner customer care and you can pose those questions to them, and going forward they are going to get that issue sorted. Even if there is any bugs also in the tool, so we can able to cope up with them in order to sort that. In the same way, K6 is also licensed. So here in K6, when we talk about K6, that is completely related to the cloud. And also for this, we need some sort of, no, I mean, what is that? Coding. Okay. But when you talk about the performance testing using LoadRunner, it comes like NCLC, no coding and very low coding. And if you want to learn something called LoadRunner in performance testing, definitely like it is not gonna to like grab your most of the things from coding. It will be having very limited calling. Okay, you no need to worry about that, and you no need to hesitate when you want to learn this type of tools. Okay, even if you don't know anything related to either Java or Python or whatever it might be, you can simply make use of this. Even if you are not aware of C language also, you can go and learn this. Okay, anyhow, in our sessions, we are going to include the C, basic concepts of C as well. See, I'm having like around 10 years of experience. Till now, I didn't even get a chance to write like int A, int B, int C in my projects. It's all completely depends on the projects on which you are working. Okay, so no one is gonna to simply ask you to write sort of code for this and that. Okay, but whenever you are entering into the any organization, definitely you should be aware of low coding, which is going to be covered in our sessions. So low coding in the sense like we will be discussing with basics of C and also string concepts and sort of loops, if else conditions and all this stuff. Okay, so Gatling, another open source, and Oats is licensed version. So we have these many tools in order to achieve performance testing. Okay, and moving to next, when we talk about load runner architecture, exactly what are all the components our load runner is holding. Here, whenever you are done with load runner installation, here it's going to give you three things. One is VUgen, the other is controller, and the other is analysis. Okay, so if you want to do performance testing for this application, okay, whenever you install the something called load runner, you will be using this virtual user generator. Okay, you will be using this component in order to record the script. Okay, you're not going to do anything. You'll be simply clicking on this tool and you will be recording the flow. You're not going to write the each and every line of code. Okay, whenever you click on start recording, if you're clicking on login, it is going to capture the login functionality. And if you're providing username, password, and also code, and if you're clicking on sign in, it is going to capture what are all the inputs you provided in this page. And then simply we will be clicking on stop recording. So once you stop the recording, it is going to show you the code. I'll show you the code as well. So that is the first component. But here we will be doing a small enhancements. What are all required? Okay, if I am going to record something called amulya@gmail.com and password as 1234, if I am recording this and if I am using my script to replay, then it can't be used by other people. Correct? If Vaibhav wants to use the same script and if Tirupati wants to use the same, Umesh and also Yogi and also John, Yamini, if we all want to make use of that script, we have something called parameterization here. Okay, so when you talk about the scripting, here we will be having three things. One is correlation, one is parameterization, and the other is text verifications. Okay, see, this is one of the scenario where we will be simply doing login. Okay, this is only for the login. So if I want to go with any username, suppose let's take JOHN, John is the username and 1234 is your password. If you want to make use of this so-called username and so-called password for multiple users, you will be simply doing parameterization. Right click, suppose anyhow that is in commented mode. Right click, wait, I'll do it here. If you want to change the password, there is something called replace with parameter. So what you're going to do, you're simply replace this password So, and I'll go to parameters and I'll provide all our usernames and all our passwords. Okay, it is going to be updated in our notepad 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose next password for Vaibhav is 4567. Under that, Sai Kumar 5678. And for someone 9870. And for Amni 1243. Okay, we will be adding those credentials here. And in the same way, if you want to change here, it is already like, see, let me do here as well. Replace with parameter, create new param, p underscore, create or p underscore username. If you want to change the username as well, okay, instead of Madhavi, I will be providing all our values. Madhavi, and I will be providing Yamini, Sai, Sunil, John, okay, Amulya, and I will be adding what are all the required user credentials I need to import into my script. So I will be recording only once, but I will be making use of this particular script for if Amazon wants to check its login functionality for 100 or sorry for 1 lakh users. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to record my script www.amazon.in. So I'll simply state on start recording and I'll click on sign in and I will be providing my credential. Okay. Okay. I will be simply providing my credential and clicking on continue and providing my 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it might be. Consider or what are all the credentials I am providing is correct. Okay. And I am clicking on sign in and that's it. Okay. And then I am going to create the parameter file and just providing all our proper and working credentials like this. Okay, so we will be doing in that format. That is related to the very first component called Vusion. We will be doing recording for scripting. And when you talk about controller, okay, when you talk about controller, so what are all the scripts you created here? We will be adding those scripts in controller to add more and more users. So here you are adding only one script and you are validating with the test data. But here you can't able to run this for more than one user because this is applicable only for one user. If you want to design the scenario saying like so-called login functionality need to run for 1 hour of duration. Okay, if you want to run your script for 1 hour of duration, then this is the component which is called controller. Here you will be designing the scenario in such a way to achieve your target. Okay, what are all the scripts you ran over here that will be analyzed by using the third component called analysis. Okay, so we will be checking all this stuff in one by one. So first we will be creating the script in the very first component and then we will be doing the execution in controller and then we will be doing the analysis. Okay, so we will be playing with all the three components here. So that is the LoadRunner architecture. So one is for scripting, one is for execution, and one is for analysis. Suppose if Vaibhav is from Amazon client, okay, he is simply asking us to go with 1,000 users. So we can use those 1,000 users, but exactly who is going to give you those 1,000 users? Okay, we have something called load generator. Okay, if you want to do scripting, there is no use of, there is no need of anything. Something called LG. If you want to run, definitely you should import this something called load generator. So the purpose of load generator is to provide required amount of load. It is going to generate required amount of load. Okay, it is nothing but you can simply and shortly called it as LG. Okay, so if you want to go for like around 100 users, then based on the LG is also nothing but one server and one machine. Okay, if that is like around 1 GB, then based on the steps, we will be adding like around 100 users. So we will be having calculation for that. If your LG is of 1 GB, then how many users it's gonna to allow? If your LG is of 10 GB, if that capacity is 10 GB, then how many users it's gonna to withstand? Okay, even if you want to check any application in order to generate required amount of load, then here comes load generator, which is going to generate load, required amount of load. Okay, in the first step you will be doing scripting and then controller for execution, and the another is for analysis, which is for reporting. Okay, and moving to life cycle. Suppose you all selected to one of the major project called Amazon. So we are around like 14 people, and we all 14 people selected to one project called Amazon. Exactly where we need to start our work. Okay, where we need to start. So if our manager called us and just asked us, guys, you all you're all going to work for Amazon project. Let's start your perf test activities. What is our very first step? So the very first step of performance testing is gathering non-functional requirements. Okay. So gathering non-functional requirements is like nothing but we need to connect to the client and check what are all the requirements we are planning for the current release. Okay. Suppose let's take, we have Amazon open. No, right? Okay. Let me open. Okay, let me open IRCTC again. Suppose if you're working with IRCTC, okay, we need to connect to the client. Suppose here Tirupati Rao is our client to IRCTC application. So we need to question him to get these functional, non-functional requirements. So we can question him exactly on what technology this application is designed. Is that from Java? Is that from .NET? Is that from JavaScript? Or is that from Python? Okay. And also we will be asking him, what is the application architecture? So how many web servers we have, how many app servers, how many DB servers we are having, all the stuff. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to completely discuss on the very first step of performance testing, which is NFR. So today I just want to brief about that. Okay. So I'm also going to ask him like, yeah, hi Tirupatra, we are having like around 2 weeks time only, right? So in that time period, so we can able to check only login, register and book ticket, but not loyalty, IRCTC e-wallet, buses, flights, hotels. As per the time limit, we are planning to consider this for next release. As we have very limited time, we can able to plan till this part. Or if you are going to extend your timelines, we will be accepting these modules as well. But when you talk about IRCTC, most of the people will be mainly focusing on train ticket booking. Okay, like even if you consider 100 people also, even if you consider like around 15 people in our session also, like not more than 2 to 3 people will come to IRCTC and book bus ticket or flight ticket. We do have n number of multiple options to do that. Okay, we need to focus on more hits into this application. It means when we talk about IRCTC from the production log also, how many hits we are seeing for this, which is for ticket booking. So based on that, we can say like, okay, so most of the people are using this. This is called, we can consider this as key business scenario, which will be considered for our scripting. Okay, so in order to book ticket also, the login functionality is pretty much needed. So we will be considered this as another key business scenario. In order to log in, definitely one should register. So for this release, we can consider register, login and ticket booking. And if you are booking your ticket, and ticket means definitely like few of the people will cancel based on their options. Okay, then in the same release, we can also suggest our client Tirupati to go for cancel ticket as well. So we can convince him like we will be planning these many scenarios for this release as per the timelines, as these will be focused more by the customers compared to bus, flight, hotel, holiday and loyalty programs. So what are all considered for the current release is in scope. What are all considered for the upcoming release will be considered as out scope. So we have n number of options for that. When you talk about NFR, we will be checking application, architecture, and also technology behind application, and what are all the components we are planning for the current release, what are all we are planning for upcoming release, and also we mainly need to question whether the application is newly developed or it is already existing one. Suppose consider like if the application is not even exist into production and we don't have IRCTC, then what are all the NFR we will be gathering from the client is different. Okay, we will be discussing those part in details tomorrow. Okay, if that is if that is newly developed, suppose till last year, suppose let's take 2024 is ending, right? So till 2024, IRCTC was with TCS company. And now they are planning to switch this project from TCS to Infosys. So then NFR gathering will be different. So if we are working for Infosys and if you are working on already existing one, then we will be questioning them for production logs. So exactly like how many hits they are seeing in the server in morning hours, in evening hours, in afternoon hours. And we can also ask them exactly at which peak hour we are seeing more logins, more ticket bookings. Okay, everything will be considered in NFR. So we are having like n number of things. So this is also most commonly question. Okay, so if you are working as if you are applying for any performance testing means they'll simply ask like whether you involved in all the end-to-end activities of performance testing. You simply say like yes, we involved. I involved. Okay, and then what are all the things that you're going to get from your client when you talk about NFR? Okay, so in this, we need to start. We need to check whether the application is newly developed or existing one. If it is already existing in the production, then we need to get the production logs. And then we need to know the application architecture, and we need to know the technology behind the application, and we need to know the in scope, out scope, and we need to know the test deliverables, Okay. And main thing, what is the objective of doing performance testing? That also comes under NFR, objective of performance testing. Okay, so once after checking this, we can simply ask like objective of performance testing. Okay, suppose it is already existing one, and earlier he did the performance testing for earlier, that did for 1 lakh users. Now our client requirement is to check for 2 lakhs. Okay, and here in this case we can simply say like the objective of performance testing is to check the application behavior when we are hitting with max load, or you can simply say like 2 lakhs of user load. Okay, even if there is small change in the run also, for every release done, definitely there will be one objective. If they are planning to check something with 2 lakh users, you can simply say like that. Or in some scenarios, the objective of performance testing is to check application behavior with newly added functionalities like bus and hotel booking. If they added these two functionalities in the current release, and if they want to make use of the same test execution by adding these two scripts as well, then we can simply write like this. So Tirupati is going to provide what are all the related things we need for NFR. So we need to know the test IDs and the test deliverable timelines. And sometimes, if you talk about IRCTC, definitely on each and every day, we will be having some maintenance time period. Even when you check IRCTC also, you can't able to book your tickets after 12. So there will be some 20 to 30 minutes of maintenance period, 12 to 12:30 or 12:20, something like that. So we need to check whether there is any blocking time period for the application, so that we can't able to do any perf test activities. Okay, we will be adding each and everything in NFR. Okay, so once we are done with that NFR, we will be moving to the next thing called test plan. So what are all the things that you discussed from Tirupati? We will be adding those in one word format, which is called test plan. It is sort of agreement. If he asked us to run for 1 lakh users, then we will be adding all these NFR into one document and will be asking his approval, so that he can't go with new changes. If you want to change any requirement, then again he needs to approve the test plan with updated data. Okay, so actually like Tirupati just asked us to check the IRCTC application with 1,000 users. So what we did, we gathered all the NFR and we did scripting and we did execution and we analyzed and shared the report. Now, due to some issues, he like changed his mind and thought of having 20,000 users instead of 1,000. Then he's simply gonna to deny our results, which is completely waste of our time. Okay, in that situations, test plan will be playing the key role. If we got approval for those 100 users in test plan, then he can't able to change his word. This so-called test plan will act as a agreement layer between our organization and the client. Even if you want to change the single step also, again he needs test plan approval. Okay, so if first earlier he asked us to include only bus booking, And now after some days he asked us to include hotel booking. Even to add that parameter also, definitely we need to get that approved from the test plan, because this is the agreement between our company, Infosys or TCS, and IRCTC. And then we will script for all the key business scenarios, and we will do the analysis, and we will, after execution, we'll do analysis. If everything as per the Tirupati, okay, if he is asking, like, if he said, like, I'm expecting 3 seconds, okay, expecting 3 seconds for login and expecting 5 seconds for payment. If we are getting those seconds from analysis, that is completely fine. If not, again we need to debug exactly where the issue is, and we need to do the changes, and we need to ask the development team to do those changes as per the requirement. And again we will be doing the same run till it reaches 3 seconds, which is called regression run. Okay, so first NFR, then test plan, then scripting, execution, and then analysis till it met something called SLA. The seconds what I said for login and login functionality 3 seconds, payment functionality 5 seconds, that comes under service level agreement. That is agreement between our company and IRCTC. Okay, that is the life cycle. So we all know what all included here. Let me share that with you again. So these are all the feedback what I got for the previous release. So if you have time, you can go ahead and check that. And coming to course syllabus. Okay. So we will be discussing about the introduction. Okay. So tomorrow I'll be starting NFR in detail, and then test plan, workload modeling, and then so we will be installing the LoadRunner into our machines, and we'll be playing with Vusion. Here we will be creating the scripts and discussing each and every corner option of LoadRunner. Okay, and then we will be checking with all runtime settings, and also we will be having few sessions on C language. Okay, and here we are going to have something called LR functions. If something started with LR, which is nothing but LoadRunner functions. Okay, and suppose if you placed your order in Amazon, okay, and I just created a script for that. If I want to make use of that script for 1,000 users, then definitely 1,000 order IDs will be created, correct? So in that type of situations, how we can able to gather all 1,000 users by using file operations? We are going to check that as well. Okay, as I said, we are having correlation parameterization and text verifications. These are the script enhancements we are having. Suppose if you are logged to anything called SBI application, there will be OTP. Okay, for each and every login user, we will be seeing something value that is getting generated from the server. Okay, those will be handled by using a simple thing called correlation. You just saw the example for the parameterization. So if you are having one username and one password, if you want to make use of multiple usernames and multiple passwords, then this comes into picture. So once we are done with this, we will be moving to second component. And once you are done with this execution, you will be moving to the final component, which is LoadRunner. Okay. So, and also I'm going to help you with interview based questions in each and every day. And mainly in these sessions, we are going to have sort of quiz based multiple choice questions as well. So that it's going to give you a proper understanding on what you are listening and what you are implementing while practicing. And here we have basic concepts, Fiddler, okay, and APM tools, Perfmon, okay, and also something called garbage collector. Okay, And also you'll be expecting 10 plus hours of self-placed recorded videos for LRE. Okay. And also true client protocol and web services protocol. So you will be, what are all the highlighted here? They are going to add each and every topic into your recording for your practice. Okay. So any questions?
So what are the protocols you are covered that?
So here we
Yes,
are going
this is
to
my
cover, like I'm going to help you with web HTTP, HTML, and also true client and basics of services as well. So anyhow, for the true client and web services, they are going to provide you like around 10 plus or some 15 plus self-recorded videos for the better practice as well. So actually, like when you talk about the load runner, so mostly the vast thing is web protocol.
no.
Okay, but if
Sometimes
you
there is
learn one protocol, then you can easily able to implement the same with the basic understanding of the systems.
So
So
Ajax
for
True
the
Client also
same,
you can cover.
yes, I am going to help you with true client as well.
apart
So
from True
SAP
Client,
GUI
is there any
protocol and SAP
SAP GUI, SAP web related protocol explanation?
No,
SAP
it's
GUI protocol.
here, it's not particularly related to SAP GUI, it's completely related to web protocols, web
Hmm.
applications, web-based applications.
So Ajax True Client you are covered all even parameterizations and correlations and everything,
Yes.
right?
What are all the things like, we need in true client based from starting from scripting, okay, and doing the scripting enhancements like correlations, parameterizations, and text verifications. All these will be implemented in our true client, Ajax true client script as well.
In third
Just
party, what is the monitoring tool you are using that? Is there any cover?
Actually, here we are going to use the Perfmon, which is internal tool. So even if you click on system also, you are going to get that. So this is one, and other we will be planning with the Dynatrace. So where you'll
okay.
be checking all the server side metrics, including GC and all this stuff.
So you while monitoring the test, so you're able to cover that even Dynatrace also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the main thing here is there is no like requirement of coding knowledge when you talk about this. Okay, even if you don't have any knowledge on coding also, this is going to help you in the very best way. And I hope you all know, like we are seeing like most of the calls from performance testing using LoadRunner in our LinkedIns. So if you want, go ahead and check the LinkedIns and check the market for this as well. And tomorrow we will be having, so what are all, I mean, whatever the topic and basic concept we covered today, tomorrow we will be having a basic quiz on that. Okay. So just for so sake of understanding what is performance and what is that and what is NFR and that and this. Okay. So you can make use of that session as well.
Amulya, I have one question.
Yeah.
So have you
Yes, I.
mentioned the uh, you have mentioned that other type of protocols like true client protocol going to
Yeah.
you are not going
Web.
to be covered. The videos we need to be learned from the videos, right? So you are not going to be take a session related to uh,
See here,
true
like
client protocol.
actually web HTTP HTML is gonna to take like around 20 plus days in order to do each and every category. Okay. So after doing that, I am gonna to help you with minimum of 2 sessions with the true client end to end, which starts from recording,
You're
and
going
I
to
am
be covered
also gonna to
the true
help
client
with
related.
yes,
So
true
not
client.
related. So last
True
time,
client
see, yes, please.
true client recording, true client how to actually in true client there will be no correlations. because of the refresh session. Okay, that is anyhow that will come into that part whenever we are discussing. So there we are going to add parameterization. There we are going to add something called text
Checklist.
verification,
Yes, a
and
checklist.
yeah, text checks, and we will be adding that script to our execution as well. Okay, you no need to worry about that.
Oh, web services. What about web services?
So for web services, I can able to help you with REST services. Few any get, post, or update, or whatever it might be, whatever we have applicable. Okay.
Huh,
So if
that
needed,
will
I
be
can
covered
also
in this
help you with
post
that.
session,
Yes.
or we need to be take. Okay,
No, actually,
okay.
I'm going to cover REST APIs in our session. So if you want to
Mm.
go ahead with some more and more into deep analysis, you can go ahead with the recorded. Anyhow, that is all completely related to the bonus topics and self-recorded. But if you guys are pretty much interested, I'm going to help you like exactly one session on this as well. Services, how to do that and this.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? John, Tirupati, Umesh, Yogi, Hari, Sunil,
Now, how many years you have in that performance
Venkatesh.
testing?
I'm having like around 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they are working?
I can't able to disclose that.
Confidential.
Sorry.
Confidential.
Yeah. Any more
Uh,
questions apart
Sorry, I have
from
one
like where I'm
question.
working and all?
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, Venkatesh. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So regarding the scripting part, look, which website are we gonna use? Is it like external websites like a Flipkart or IRCTC, which you also, or is it internal
So actually,
website?
like here we are going to do our scripting with some sort of real-time projects where we will be having some, I mean, free source tools. We will be taking those applications and we will be making use of that applications into our performance testing. Okay. So there
Okay.
is
What about the
one
monitoring
application.
tools?
Yeah, one
Yes.
is like open source, which is Perfmon. I'm going to cover that, and also Dynatrace. Okay.
Okay.
And tomorrow we are going to have a detailed session on the very first step of performance testing life cycle, which is non-functional requirements gathering. So we are going to check that part. Others, I'm able to, like we are seeing your video. If you want, you can switch off that video. Yeah, your video is enabled. No worries. That's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah. Any more questions, guys?
Nothing.
Mm, okay. Then feel free to connect tomorrow. Okay. Where we
Yeah.
will be having the discussion on NFI. Okay. Anyhow, they will be sharing this video and you can have a look. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.